Good morning, my happy Arbak. Here's the plan. Painting, tiling, skim coating, ceilings, something completely new, and I'm going to try to take away a little bit of the guesswork on my part that's been going on with how much skim coat and paint has been applied upstairs. We'll see if we can actually give some proper answers rather than me just saying, oh, it looks like blah blah blah. What could possibly go wrong? We'll start here today at the very noisy patio. Richard, assisted by lead foreman Nanny, cleaning up the floor here in preparation for tiling that may begin today. It depends how much progress they make with this cleanup. I wanted to show that just to show that when these tiles are cut, they are, of course, they have the lines drawn on, but then it's entirely done by hand. It's not a specific tool that guides the cutting. So they've got to have a good eye and a steady hand to do this. So the tile on top there is the one that Don just cut, and now he's going to work on finishing off this corner with the corridor leading out of the kitchen towards the dirty kitchen. There's still a fair bit of this floor to do over beyond the kitchen island, but there's not a massive amount of time. I don't know whether they'll finish this today. Might be a bit of a stretch, but another today and Monday maybe, and we're done. Back on the north wall, yet more waterproofing. O'Donnell's at work just here. And there's something just to his right that is completely new. Here, we've got Oliver putting in the cabinetry in the laundry room. So on this side will be some regular cabinets plus a sink. And then on this side is where the washing machine and I guess a tumble dryer will go in, along with some other cabinets. In the upstairs hallway, Frederick is continuing to extend those central tiles, getting fairly close towards the end of the corridor now. Papa Jess is working again on exterior lights. So we just had a chat with the engineer this morning about placement, and really it was just confirming what he'd already done, with one small exception. So we're putting external wall lights around, I think, probably all sides of the house. Still haven't quite decided what they'll look like yet. I think if we put, old-fashioned lamps, that might not be quite the right look for this, but we'll see. We'll see what the builder suggests on that probably. I'm here in the master bedroom, but I wanted to just clarify where we are with skim coat and paint, because for the last several days I've been wandering around saying, oh, that looks like X number of skim coat or maybe a bit of primer paint. So just to begin with, what they are going to end up with is on the walls there will be between 3 and 4 layers of skim coat, unless there are areas that are not going to be paint as a finished surface, in which case there'll be considerably less. There's no point in really flattening out a wall and making it super smooth if you're then going to put something like stucco on the walls, which is what we will do in certain areas. So 3 to 4 skim coat, and they'll judge that based on touch, whether they feel they need a 4th. Then there'll be 1 coat of primer paint on the walls, and then there'll be probably 2 coats of the finishing paint, which they call semi-gloss, which is latex. On the ceilings, in fact, the skim coat was only used for kind of touch-up where there were screw holes, anything that took the ceiling away from being a flat surface. And after that, they've gone directly to primer paint. And there will be, I seem to remember, 2 primer coats. I'm just going to check on my phone, which I've got knocked handily over my shoulder. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, 2 primer coats. On the ceiling, there will be 2 coats of primer, and then probably one finish of, again, flat latex paint. I think in all these cases they will judge it ultimately by appearance, but that's generally the target. And as for this specific room, at the moment, only 1 skim coat on the walls, and right now 2 primer coats on the ceiling. In Adrian's room, where home with an H is just filling in a little bit more up towards the ceiling. At the moment, on the walls in most areas, we do have 3 coats of skim coat and 2 coats of primer. There are exceptions. So, over up towards the top, you might be able to make out that that area looks considerably less white and clean. That's only 1 because there's going to be a design feature on there. It will not be a finished paint surface. And take a dizzy pill. This whole wall will be done differently as well. And just to give a little idea of what this room will look like, this is the rendering. Again, the rooms, as with Sabrina's, this is just a rendering based on any old room shape, size. But the colouring, which is a little difficult to see on this because Adrian has gone for a predominantly greyish look. That's very roughly the look that he's after. There will not be curtains. I don't think we're going to do curtains in any room. But generally speaking, this is what his room will look like. This is Alex's room. And at the moment, varying levels of finish. We've got depending on where you are, between 1 and 2 skim coats on the wall. And we do have 2 coats of primer all across the ceiling. In Jack's room, where Mr. Willie is just working on the area around by the door, we currently have 3 skim coats on most of the walls, plus 1 primer coat. This is not the same. This wall is a little bit less on here. Again, this I think will be a different finish on this wall. But this is one of the more advanced ones in most areas. 3 skim coats plus 1 primer coat, at least over on that wall and in certain other areas. And up on the roof, the ceiling, 2 primer coats so far. And lastly, in Sabrina's room, in most areas now, we have 3 skim coats on the walls. Once again, except on that wall over there, where there'll be a different finish. And at the moment, that is only a single layer of skim coat. And in fact, on these walls, I'm just checking my notes, there is also one layer of primer. And as with most of the other rooms, two primer coats up on the ceiling. Lastly, for now, Mr. Rene is just now finishing off these corner pieces in the gym. So he's got that corner, looks like only one tile to go in there. And in this corner, could be 3 little bits of tiles in that corner, I would suspect. I know it's unheard of, but I made a mistake. Up in this corner, I said, I wondered why that was the only area that had not had any waterproofing on it. Well, it had. But then they covered over that first layer with skim coat. And I'm still not entirely sure why that was required just along a little bit further across here. But it was. And I questioned that and said, are you sure? Because I thought I'd caught everything. But the engineer quite rightly said it was never white. So they had waterproofed and then put the white skim coat back on top. And my guess is there'll be another coat going up there shortly. Right now, singing Rico is just doing a little bit lower down. And he is quietly singing. Yay! It's just a couple of minutes after 1 o'clock. So the guys have just started again. Let's see what they've been up to this morning. Inside the gym, Mr. Rene, helped by Carlito, got these corner pieces done. So the gym end is now complete. The spa end is as complete as it can be without that corner where there's no slab having been poured yet. I had forgotten about this part. This is the bathroom inside the gym and spa. So Mr. Rene is starting again here. I'd be surprised if he gets all of this done. It's all corner pieces, a little bit tricky, some drains to deal with, but he'll make some more progress with this today. Because Rene's working in that bathroom, I think that means there will not be any tiling on the patio today. We've got 3 tilers, Mr. Rene being one of them, although he can do all sorts of other things as well. But the other 2 guys are both busy elsewhere, so this is going to have to wait for next week unless I am horribly wrong. In the kitchen, Don Don is almost up to this door with the dining room. It's just cutting those remaining tiles to size. There's still a little bit, as you can see, both on the right and the left. Some more edge ones to do. And then over on the far side of the kitchen, around where ultimately the refrigerator and a couple of other bits will be. And still some edging down by the sinks at the front there. So quite a lot more to do. And a lot of those are not straightforward tiles. So this is not going to be done today, but that's okay. We're not in any desperate rush for it. In the laundry room, Oliver's got the framing for the cabinet. It will contain the sink and other bits. He's got the metal rebar in at the end. He's done a base for it. And he's now about to plaster in the end. A lot of progress in here today. And right next to him, original Rico working on another door frame. So cleaning it up, getting rid of anything on the surface, and then there'll be paint on here. In the upstairs hallway, Frederick, right down the other end, is about to put in the very last of the kind of central tiles, and that will mean that this whole long line is done, and then he moves over towards the edge pieces. I asked the question a few days ago of why do they always start in the middle? And I've got a ton of answers. And everybody has agreed that this is the right way to go. It allows you to make sure everything is properly centered, so you don't have, for example, on the right side you end up with a tile that is 80 centimeters, and on the left side you have one that's 30 centimetres. It makes everything even. There were plenty of other answers, but nobody has questioned that this is in fact the right way to go. Ernie is in the master bedroom, doing all these little fiddly bits of paint up near where the PVC panels are. This is Aldrid's bedroom, and Herwin, with an H, has just walked out. He was, before I came along, applying more white. And in Jack's room, Willie is now doing more skim coating on the inside of this wall that is just leading out towards the balcony. Just for the moment, I don't see anybody working on waterproofing. I think realistically this front of the house is the last area that they've really got to do, and obviously they've done quite a big part already, so not many more days of waterproofing being applied, I would guess. And inevitably, as soon as I turn the corner, I'm proven to be wrong. Seeing Enrico working on waterproofing here on the south wall again, and as you can see, it is again a second coat. All by himself at the moment. It's 4 o'clock, the end of the day, as it's a Saturday, and the end of the work week. Let's go and see what they managed to get done in those last couple of hours. One thing they have done, at my request, is removed a lot of the protective cardboard or wood that was on top of a lot of the tiles because of something that we may be going to try tomorrow. So you're going to get, as we walk around this time, a little bit of a better look at what the tiling looks like. So going into the gym and then into the spa, and sorry about the changes in light, hopefully the camera reacts fairly quickly, and let's see. I am surprised. Mr. Rene finished this floor. Didn't think he'd get that much done. Good job. In the kitchen, I'm blocked from going in at the side as I have been, so I can't really tell exactly how much more was done, except for the fact that what you can see down towards the far end, not finished yet, and going around the kitchen island, not done yet either. But that's got to be a good, what's that, 70% plus of the floor is now covered. In the laundry room, we saw earlier the frame was in. Oliver was just adding the plaster on this end, and now he's starting to add more into the base. In the upstairs hallway, all the way down to the end, we saw that last one going in earlier. And now Frederick started to come back down the sides. In the master bedroom, just a little bit more of skim coat up on this decorative feature, and there was a little bit more done up high on the ceilings. Inside Sabrina's room, and it's the same story with all the other bedrooms. Can't see any obvious difference, but there has been more painting and skim coat going on in most of the bedrooms upstairs. But following this morning's kind of slightly more scientific approach to where are we, now I'm back to it's looking whiter. I'm under instruction to film this. Dogs drinking milk. There you go. Done as I was told. There we go then. The end of the week. Really, I think for us a very good week. Lots of finishing going on that I think really are starting to define the interior of the house a little bit. Before we go, a quick joke. It's quite a long video, so this one is from Ian Roebuck. Did you hear about the guy who invented the knock knock joke? He was given the Nobel Prize. Took me a moment. Well, that's because I'm a bit slow. Okay, so all sorts of finishing today, tiling, whitening of walls and ceilings, getting a little bit of activity in the laundry room, which we've not had for a very long time. It really was, for us, a very, very good week. Absolutely. With a couple of tiny setbacks, which have been mostly overcome already. BuilDelicious. See you next week.